Wow, here we are at this webinar for Support for Stressful Times. Hi, I'm Ann Weiser Cornell. Welcome. You know, I was feeling today about patience. Certain things that are stressful seem to be going on way too long. I opened the newspaper today and the headline here in California, things are worse. They're not better in the coronavirus world. And there are other hard things in your life, in other people's lives. Patience. What does that mean, patience? Are there things you feel are hard to be patient with? Tell me about what's hard for you. What can we give you some support with today? Because I get impatient. I get to feel like it's been enough. I'm ready for something else. Yes, I'm very lucky. I have this nice little house I live in with my sweetie. I have a sweetie, so I'm not short on hugs. But still, I get impatient. I get tired of it all. Do you? Yeah. Lack of freedom of movement. Writes Marcia. Yeah. Who else wants to talk about what's hard to be patient with? Badria agrees. It's hard. Spending too much time alone, Elizabeth says. Dinah says, I miss the hugs. Yeah, remember? I used to meet a friend. We'd hug automatically. I would hug my hairdresser because I've known her for years. No. And Marta wants us to know there's a big part of her that feels no hope for the future of mankind, humankind. Yeah. That's so feeling no hope is a very hard feeling to be having. I know that. Yeah. Susan says, hard to be patient with family Zoom meetings. Is that true? What is it about them that's hard? Okay, very good. Yeah. And William is feeling too hot in New York. It's too hot. All right. Yeah. Maybe we can give you some help with that. Anne writes, part of me is impatient with technology. Aha. All right. And Lily writes, it's hard to be patient with anxiety about becoming ill and having to wear masks and distance from others. Yeah. And another Anne writes, it's hard to be patient with myself. I seem to be so far behind. I'm impatient with myself for not getting things done. I'm not happy with myself for not doing my priority items. And Barbara writes, I'm impatient with injuries. Let me talk a bit about feelings like impatience and hopelessness. We don't want to push our feelings away. We don't want to tell our feelings that they're wrong. Why? Because they don't really go away. It doesn't really work to try to argue with our feelings, to tell them that they're wrong. Doesn't work. They stay. Maybe they go underground. Maybe we go numb instead of having feelings. Maybe out of our numbness, we eat more and have trouble sleeping. So trying to make feelings go away, suppress them, distract ourselves from them. Hey, if that was the only thing we had to manage our feelings, it's better than nothing. But there's got to be something better than that. And that's why I'm so pleased with the method that I like to show you at these webinars. And that is to say, I am sensing something in me that feels this way. And that means you're still sensing the feeling. It gets to be here. And yet, it's not all of you. I am sensing something in me that's really impatient. So give that a try, would you? And tell me how it works. And take some challenging feeling that you're feeling these days, or right now especially. We don't need it for enjoyable feelings. I feel happy, I feel hopeful, I feel grateful. We don't really need this method for enjoyable feelings because they don't challenge us. We get to enjoy, grateful, warm, the love we feel. That's all welcome. But if you have a challenging feeling, including feeling too hot and the feelings about that, tired of it, sick of it, and so on. So many people, hard to trust, hard to be patient. Yeah, just taking a peek at the chat again. Wow, thank you so much, folks who are contributing there. Hard to be patient with friends who think the virus is a hoax. I'm glad I don't have any friends like that. That must be really hard. Okay, so what I was going to show you is this method. You've heard it before if you've been with me before, and yet this is not intellectual information that you can hear once and then say, I've got that already. This is practice. And like every practice, every time we do it again, we remember it. Our bodies embody it more. It becomes more of a new habit that can help us in hard times. Okay, so take your challenging feeling and say, I am sensing something in me feels. If it's impatient, I'm sensing something in me feels impatient. And notice what happens. I always take a deep breath right there. It just sort of comes involuntarily. Oh yeah, something in me feels impatient. And I just felt my shoulders relax when I said that. And the impatient feeling gets to be there. I haven't pushed it away. And if it wants to impel me to some kind of action, it can still do that. We don't do this so that our feelings are silenced, right? I mean, there's some of the things that are hard in the world right now are evidences of injustice. They're things that are wrong. They're things we need to do something about. We don't want to have a way to be with our feelings so that we suppress them, because then they don't impel us into action. So if I pause and sense something in me is really longing for a way to be more creative, I've still got my longing. I may find a way to be more creative. I haven't told it to go away. Now let's take hopeless. That's a tough one. Hopeless. I am sensing something in me is feeling hopeless about, this person said, the future of humanity. The next step is often to feel in your body the something that you've named. I'm sensing something in me feeling hopeless. Did you feel that somewhere in your body when you named something in me feels hopeless? Maybe there's a sinking feeling, a heaviness. Maybe there's a tension in the stomach. And that too, we can give company to. We can put a gentle hand there. We can say, yes, I know you're there. There's another thing though about helpless feelings. And that has to do with our thoughts. Because we have challenging feelings, and we also have challenging thoughts, thoughts that make our life more difficult in stressful times. Good, I see in the chat that people are trying this out. Very good. Susan's writing, I need to keep hearing this. Very good, very good. All right, let's talk a bit about challenging thoughts. And the thing about being hopeless about the future of humanity is probably not only a feeling of hopeless. It's probably also got some thoughts like we will never, or there will never be, or always, it will always be this bad. It will never be better. Do you know, we will never face the need for a radical response to climate change. So do you have sentences like that chasing around in you? We will never, we will always, it will never, they will never, always. So sentences with never and always in them are what I mean by stressful thoughts. And they're never true. They're almost never true. They're expressions of a part of us that's anxious. Because although things can be likely, No one knows the future for sure. So a reasonable statement includes maybe, maybe not. That's why always and never are signals that something in us that's anxious has started to express itself through our thoughts. Yeah? So there will never be a vaccine. I'll never be able to hug my granddaughter again. I agree that there are some cases where you can really say a never sentence and it'll be true, but usually not, all right? So notice if you've got some never always thoughts chasing around in you, and if you, well, actually, not totally certain. So here's what you do with that. Somebody mentioned the election coming up. Yes, my partner regularly says there will not be an election there, right? We don't know. All right, so I'm talking about the United States. Take a sentence like, there'll never be, I'll never hug my granddaughter again. I have a granddaughter who I'm not able to hug because she lives in a city that I would have to fly to, even if other things made it possible to hug her. And when I say the words, I'll never be able to hug my granddaughter again, I feel sadness welling up in me. And that's the sadness that I feel. I miss her. But the never sentence is from an anxious part of me. So I will say, hello, I am sensing something, feeling really sad, missing my granddaughter. I could even say I miss my granddaughter. It doesn't feel like a part of me. But with my sentence, I'll never be able to hug Isabel again, I will say, something in me says I will never be able to hug her again. So it's a little bit different from the sentence with emotions. With thoughts, the sentence is, I'm sensing something in me says. Do you feel the difference there? Something in me says, da 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 da, never, always. Step two, I'm saying hello to that. Something in me says I'll never hug her again. I say hello to that. And I realize when I do that, that the part of me that says I'll never hug her again is anxious, worried, and sad. And that's a very important step, because our thoughts, if we don't turn toward them, our thoughts can feel like they're just the truth ringing in our ears. And the feelings that they evoke in us can feel hard to be with. But when I realize that what I'm actually hearing from is a part of me that's really sad and worried I won't see her again, I can say something in me is sad and worried, and I can give care and company to that part of me. I can put a gentle hand there. I can say, yes, I really hear you. I can say to this place in myself, I know you're longing to be with Isabel again. So that's how that works. We discover that these stressful thoughts that seem to tell us the truth, including that that humanity is completely done for, something in me says. Something in me is worried that that's true. Yeah, yeah. Dinah writes, those never and always thoughts give rise to feelings of despair. And if we just try to be with our feelings of despair without also turning toward the thoughts that are connected to them, it's going to be a little harder. Yes, 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 yes. There's many things going on medically and politically that bring anxious, worried feelings in us. Some of them we may be able to do something about. We may be able to contribute somehow to the positives. When I'm paralyzed by anxiety, I have a hard time doing anything. When I'm able to turn toward how I feel, what happens is that I get bigger. The I who can turn toward how I feel is strengthened. My challenging feelings actually help me get bigger if I recognize them. If my challenging feelings become something that I can be gentle with, turn toward, be caring toward, then I feel my own empowerment while I do that. Whereas if I'm despairing, I'm hopeless, I'm feeling lost, then I get smaller. So this is about who we really are. We have our feelings. We welcome our feelings, but we are not our feelings. Yes. Some of you are talking in the chat about getting things done. That's really a favorite of mine. And one thing you can do is say hello to something in you that isn't doing it or that doesn't want to do it. Because we often experience an inner war between, see my little animals here, between a part of us that's not wanting to do it, fill out the forms somebody wrote, or clean the house, and then something that says how lazy you are. You got to do it. Get going. And this is an inner conflict that can't be won, because the part of us that doesn't want to do it just gets more entrenched if it's being pushed on by you should, you need to, you have to. And I am not either of those. So if I say hello to something in me that isn't doing it, I say hello to something in me that's anxious about it not being done. And I say, and I am here with both of these. And I say to them, I'm here now. And maybe not instantly, but what can happen is that my choices about action come from myself rather than from an anxious part of me or a rebellious part of me. And and there's a rhythm where there's times of day when I need to rest. I need to give myself something. I need to take a walk. Yes. Yes. Oh, thank you. I'm seeing people write in the chat that this is helpful. All right. But Francie writes, after saying hello to the part and showing compassion, what's next? Okay, let's go there. All right. So let's say I started out today with a part of me that feels impatient. As soon as I said that, I could feel it, as you could probably tell from my face. So I'm going to use this doll for the impatient part. No, I'm going to use this doll for the impatient part. I say hello to the impatient part of me. I say, I sense how impatient you are. This one doesn't really want comfort. My sad part's like getting comfort. This one is like, well, yeah, hello, but now what? Because I'm here to listen and I'm here to sense how it is. So I sense the impatient part, feeling impatient. What's the next step? I'm going to sense more. How is it doing? What kind of impatience is it like? What's the more that's there that hasn't been captured by that word? And the next phrase that comes to my mind is sick of it. It's like this part of me is letting me know, I'm sick of it. Okay, so what often happens when we turn our attention to what we feel is we get more from the same place. They're not just labels, sad, angry, scared, right? Every feeling we have has richness. It has more to it. And as you get more specifics about what it feels like, it's more and more your own. It's more and more not the same as anybody else's feeling. And as you get more specifics about it, the feeling itself, starts feeling more heard, more understood. And that's when the relaxing sets in. So I just said to the impatient part of me, I'm sensing you really feel sick of it. And that brought a relaxing. It's still there. Okay, the next thing is tired of it. Okay, and now it seems like that's more of the same, but if we get precise and specific, sick of it is different from impatient. Tired of it is a little different from sick of it. And each time we sense and we get more, we're helping the part of us feel more acknowledged and understood. And at some point, we may feel a big shift, like, oh, that feels okay now. Or we may get a step of some kind of action that we'd like to take. Yeah. So yes, we say to our parts, I am here. I am here with you now. I am here to listen. And what we want is that our bodies become a safe space for our feelings. I want that for you. Because every feeling that you have is an understandable reaction to the situations of your life. It's also a reaction to the thoughts you're having. So that's why we want to include turning toward our stressful thoughts in the process of being present for our feelings. And these are the things that can really bring us relief. Anyway, it feels that way to me. It's been my experience that what I need for relief in stressful times is to be aware of what I'm feeling and thinking. And then once I'm aware, be able to turn toward my feelings and thoughts. And if I turn toward my feelings and thoughts, then I am the one who can turn toward. And that cultivates a more empowered self. I am more able to be with how I feel. You know what else happens? I become more able to be with how other people feel, with patience and compassion and empathy. I'm more able to see a larger perspective. If I'm caught in my feelings, merged with them, I even tend to sometimes see other people as the problem causing how I feel. I get mad at them. I have thoughts that they're doing it to hurt me. I think everybody has things like that from time to time. But when I can acknowledge what I'm feeling, I don't argue with it. I just say, I'm sensing something in me feels like that person is doing it to hurt me. I feel my body expanding, not the feeling, the body. The feeling is still here. I'm expanding. And I've got a bigger perspective, and now I can see the other person's point of view. Oh, they said that because they were anxious. And my heart begins to open. We're near our end. How time flies when you're having a good time. Yes. Khan writes, I feel like I'm in prison. Okay, and can you say something in me feels like I'm in prison? Because it's a beautiful communication from that part of you. Something in me feels like I'm in prison, and I'm saying hello to that, and I'm giving it compassion and empathy. Like, oh, I'm saying to it, no wonder. Of course. Yes. Yes. Andrea writes, do you greet the thoughts? Yeah. I'm sensing something in me says this will never get better. I say hello to that. And I'm sensing if it's worried. Yes, it's worried that this will never get better. It's our thoughts are often telling us what they're worried about, but they drop out the word worry. And so then they start sounding like the voice of truth. And then something in us reacts as if the voice of truth is sounding. When I can sense that the thought came from a worried part of me, I can have compassion for that worried part of me. What if you don't have much time? I know. Say hello. You always have more time than much more time than you think you do. Yes, beautiful. Pamela writes, this is so much better than submerging myself in my feelings and feeling like I'm drowning. Thank you. Thank you. Can you talk out loud? Yeah. And if you talk out loud around other people, they'll just think you're on your phone. It's easy. Okay, my dears, I've got to run. We'll do this again next week at a different time. We'll do this at the same time in 2 weeks. I so look forward to being with you again. Thank you for being here. Take care. Bye for now.